Welcome to Coastal Cooking with your host, Carmela Campbell. Coastal Cooking brings you the Gulf Coast's finest chefs cooking their delicious recipes with all natural gas. This show is brought to you by Pensacola Energy, clean, efficient, natural gas. And now, Coastal Cooking.
My guests today are from Trigger's Restaurant. We have executive chef Buzz Valadao and his sous chef and son, Zack. Welcome, guys.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
It's so good to have you back, and every time this guy comes, he's just
He grows
bigger.
2 or 3 inches, doesn't he, every time?
He does. He does. He's even bigger than you now. Can you imagine?
Yep. We were just looking at the picture of us all in 2009 in the Seafood Festival, and he was shorter than I was then. But
had a little growth spurt there, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, y'all have got 3 delicious dishes from Trigger's for us today. Tell us what they are, Buzz.
We sure do. We've got 3 different specials that we do. The first one is tuna Big Easy. It's a seared tuna with a Gouda cheese grit cake with a Creole Bordelaise sauce with shrimp that's going to go over the top of it.
Wow.
The second one is sautéed grouper with dirty martini sauce, over the top of it.
That'll be interesting.
And the next one is going to be a soft shell po' boy with fried green tomatoes and a Creole sauce over the top.
And I understand this is one of Zach's favorites.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
All
we're
right.
going to have to fight for them at the end of the show.
I think so too. Okay, what do we do to get started, guys?
Well, Zach needs to get started with the tuna and the grit cake, and I guess I can chat a little bit while he's doing that. Just want to tell everybody, obviously we're still located out on Gulf Beach Highway. Mm-hmm. We've been there, I think it's been 28 years. I've been there for the last 9. Carol and Glenn have owned it since its inception.
It's family owned, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yep, they've had it since it was called the Time Saver when they originally purchased it.
Is that right?
Yep. It used to be an old gas station convenience store, and they slowly converted into a full-service restaurant.
How interesting.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. Being a family-owned place, we get to do some things that you can't do corporate-wise. You just get to play around with specials like this a little bit more.
As a matter of fact, Zach, tell us what you've done so far.
We have a cheese grit cake made with Gouda cheese, and we're getting
cheese grit cake. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting a little messy over here with some panko breadcrumbs. It's not fun if you don't get it everywhere.
That's right.
Well, we just made smoked Gouda grits and just let them chill so that they won't go all over the place when you try to fry them. And then roll them in that panko, and the panko kind of creates an outer crust to it, so it won't get so messy as it could.
Oh, it makes it so good. All you really have to do is brown that.
Yeah, just heat it up enough. Everything's cooked inside there, so you really just want to heat it up in the center. And while Zach gets that pan hot, we're going to drive the camera guy crazy, and we're going to start frying stuff all over the place. I just put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to make a Creole Bordelaise. It's a real simple sauce, shallots, garlic, and then just deglaze the pan with red wine. You're supposed to use Bordelaise, but I take a little poetic freedom with it here, and just a little bit of blackening seasoning, demi-glace, and then just butter it out at the end. Emulsify some butter to kind of smooth it out and give it a little bit of fat content.
Okay, sounds good.
You'll be able to see all that in the recipe and the instructions when we're filming.
We're going to start off with a little bit of
garlic
and shallots.
Yeah, a little bit of garlic and shallots. Get the pan good and hot. And you don't want to brown the garlic too much. Or actually, you really just want to get it a little bit of a tan color. And put some nice jumbo Gulf shrimp in there. And we've got some brand new saute pans here, and they stick onto the burners for some reason.
But they're beautiful.
Thank you.
You can really tell when saute pans have a lot of love.
Yeah,
can't you?
they get a lot of work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And we're just gonna flip these shrimp over. They got little thermostats in them. You can just watch them cook on the sides there. They'll start to creep up on the sides, and when about halfway over, you want to take them and flip them over. So
that's a good clue, Buzz?
Yeah, if you can just watch the side of the shrimp in it, you just see the white coming up. It's almost like a built-in thermostat, like a little pop-up things on the turkeys nowadays.
Yeah.
I'll hit it with a little bit of red wine.
Red wine, okay.
Blackening seasoning that we make at the restaurant. And we're just going to let that reduce. And I'm just going to keep dodging those panko breadcrumbs from flying over here at me.
It's almost like popcorn, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Zach, our grit cake looks great. Look at that. And all the items you're doing today, Buzz, are on your menu at Triggers?
Well, actually, we do them as specials. They can be asked for anytime. We have all the ingredients available for all of this stuff. So if you want to get any of this stuff, just ask us for it. I try to incorporate products that we use daily and cross-utilize them to keep inventory reduced and to make sure that everything is moved a little bit more.
You almost have to in a restaurant, don't you?
You have to. It's important.
Yep.
All right, now we're just going to add the demi-glaze, which is just a rich brown feel reduction. And my stuff's about done. I just got to heat it up a little bit, and then I'm going to emulsify with butter so that can go ahead and sear that tuna, and I'm about ready to jump out of the way. This little corral that Chris has over here for me, I think it's going to get moved.
We're going to keep you on the set, right?
There we go.
This is a beautiful tuna fillet. Very nice. Are you going to cook it rare?
Yeah, I was going to sear it.
Sear it? Okay.
Yellow?
Which means you're just browning both sides.
All right. Now all I'm doing is heating up the demi-glaze and getting it kind of where it'll kind of move around a little bit, just the temperature, and then I'm emulsifying with some whole butter. I like to use unsalted butter because that way you can control the sodium content and the flavor a little bit better.
What temperature is your butter?
You want to get it to room temperature, not where it's really, really too soft because it'll not emulsify. It'll just kind of melt like drawn butter would be, but you don't want it cold.
Okay.
Very, very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. And as
That's important. Oops.
Got
That's
you.
more breadcrumbs flying around.
We're going to get a little loud here for a second, just trying to get that in. And you can just see the color and the texture of that sauce changing. And it's just incorporating that butter. If you can go ahead and turn that fire off for me, Zach.
Just that one right there. There you go. Well, that sauce didn't take very long, Buzz.
No, it doesn't take long at all.
Now, how will you know when your tuna is the temperature you want? You're just looking at the sides?
Basically the same thing. Look out. Basically the same thing as the shrimp. You're watching it come up on the sides, and you can kind of tell by the thickness of it. Obviously, if it's a thicker piece of tuna, it's going to take a little bit longer to get hot throughout. You want to get about, I guess, a 1/16 of an inch of it seared.
Okay. There's our grit cake. Our tuna is ready.
Yep.
That was a matter of seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't take very long.
Oh, that is perfect.
Okay, thank you.
And now
we're
you've
just
got the crowning touch.
Yeah, we're just going to take these shrimp and kind of put them around the outside. See if I can do it without getting stuff all over the place.
What a lovely dish.
Let's set this right down here.
Oh, that looks so rich and yummy.
All right, and get a little bit of
Garnish.
garnish on there.
You got the green onions on your spot.
Just hit it with a little bit of green onion for a color and flavor. And that is the tuna Big Easy.
That looks fabulous.
Yeah.
That looks so good. How long has Zach been in the kitchen with you? And I guess he's full-time now?
Yep, he came back to work at Triggers, I guess, the middle or end of April. He's been working in the kitchen with me, gosh.
Too long.
Thanks, buddy. Probably about
But he still comes back, doesn't he?
About 4 years as far as being on the line, but he's been messing around in the kitchen since he was about 4 or 5. We were talking when we first did Vlad TV. He was on a milk crate so he could see over the counter. And I think he was probably like 3 or 4, somewhere around there.
He's come a long way
it's
since
been a long time.
then. It has.
Yep.
Let's
He's
take
doing
a
well.
commercial break, and we're going to come back and get some more recipes. And some of them are your creations.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that right after this. Stay with us.
Did you know that BTU for BTU natural gas can be up to 50% cheaper than electricity? And did you know Pensacola Energy is offering rebates up to $1,000 when you switch from an electric water heater to natural gas? In the end, it's your money. You can put it in your pocket, or you can watch it go down the drain. Contact Pensacola Energy to learn how you can start saving now.
Cooking with natural gas is more controlled than using an electric range. But more importantly, they're less expensive to operate. Don't get burned with electric. Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
Dirty martini grouper is our next dish.
All right, well, we're going to get started, but a little story about the dirty martini grouper. Actually, it was one of our employees, Chantel, who came up with the idea. I tried to instill with all the employees to get creative with things so that they stay excited with the business and stay excited about doing different things. So we're not doing the same things day in and day out, because I really would get a little bored and a little out of my mind if I had to do the same thing day in and day out. And I like to see people when they come up with some new ideas. It's really it makes things a little bit more fun. Mm-hmm. And Zack has just taken the grouper and he's kind of butterflied it open a little bit just to help with the cooking process. We've heated up some olive oil and we're just gonna try to cook it just throughout. You really don't want to overcook it because it'll draw the moisture out of it. Mm-hmm. And the sauce that I'm making is really simple. As I told you before, we try to cross-utilize products that we have. One, keeps inventory down. Two, freshness. Obviously, we're using products more quickly that way. This is one of the things that we did at the Seafood Festival, the calamari abruzzi. It's the same reduction. It's olives, peppers, onions, lemon juice, a little bit of shrimp stock, and some fresh herbs. And we just reduce it down a little bit and kind of get it ready for service to expedite the cooking process. Mm-hmm. We don't make any of the sauces ahead of time, but just so that the cook time's a little bit quicker. Okay. Get food out a little bit more quickly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this sauce back up to temperature, and it's that reduction that we talked about. And the dirty martini is the olives. We're going to add a little bit of olive juice to it and a little bit of olive oil to it.
Olive juice and olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little bit of green onion, a little bit of fresh chopped parsley, a little bit of dry vermouth, your traditional martini. And obviously that's to taste. Some people like the vermouth a little bit more. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of water, because the cooking process, in order to heat it up, is going to cook it down a little bit, and we just don't want it. You don't want it too dry. And that's really it. The directions as far as making the reduction are really simple. It's just chopping up the vegetables, sauteing them really quickly, as garlic and onions and so on. And that's just going to flip that over. Like you said, we really don't want to cook it too much. I want to make sure it's cooked throughout, but not overcooked.
You buy a lot of your food products locally, don't you?
I try to buy a lot of the fresh fish locally. I buy a lot of stuff from Maria Seafood. We buy our mullet, we buy our grouper, we buy our fresh catches. I've been having the darndest time lately finding triggerfish. And for a restaurant named Triggers, it's been kind of frustrating. But I won't compromise the quality and buy stuff that I don't feel comfortable with. And I had a couple of purveyors bring me some product that I just wasn't happy with, and I sent it back. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind it, why triggerfish has become so difficult to get. Yeah. But I wish I could find some, but I really, especially a place named Triggers, I don't want to sell stuff that's not good quality.
And I think it's important for everyone to know that Triggers is not the only type fish you serve.
Oh, gosh,
with the name Triggers, it's like, is that all they have? But that is definitely not the case.
And it's definitely not just seafood. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Obviously, and we do a Sunday brunch now, which we started about a little over a year and a half ago. And it's become really successful. But we have seafood, we have steak, we have pasta, we have chicken, we have tons of different hamburgers, as Zack will attest to, because he's the one behind cooking them all. We have the Hector burger and the Bama burger and bacon cheese. I mean, just a ton of different burgers and sandwiches. Plenty of kids' meals for all the little ones coming in, especially during vacation time. we do baskets, different size portions and stuff for the smaller appetites, plus a ton of appetizers. We do oysters on a half shell, baked oysters, Rockefeller, Perdido, trigger stuff. The trigger stuff is our crab meat stuffing.
And don't forget your dessert.
Oh, the fried cheesecake. Yeah, we still do the cheesecake.
And your bread pudding.
Bread pudding, and we started doing the volcano cake about 2 years ago, I guess. It's the chocolate volcano cake a lot of people are doing. We do a little different twist to it, but it's become very, very popular. And we also have a new one too that we started about 9 months ago. It's an apple tart. It's a rustic pie crust with an sweet apple filling in the center of it, and we serve vanilla bean ice cream with it.
Oh, that
That's become
sounds
really
great.
popular. One of our locals, I tried to get something new in from him because he's coming in 2 or 3 times a week, and he fell in love with it. So we keep it in stock.
It's a
now.
keeper, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Brown. He's one of our locals.
Oh, that's
Comes in
great.
quite often. Yeah.
That is great.
Yep.
Well, this is looking delicious, and the aroma is delicious too.
Yeah, it's smelling really good. I love this. This is one of my favorite sauces. Being from the Northeast and being, my dad was from Portugal, and the olives and the tomatoes and all that stuff is something that he cooked a lot with. A lot of seafood.
It's so healthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's really become a health food now, and a lot of people are really eating a lot more of it. How's it look, Zach?
That's about done.
Yeah, a lot of people are cooking with olive oil, olives, and more of a Mediterranean diet is a lot healthier for you. Now, some people have Mediterranean diet, and they're eating a bunch of bread with it, so it doesn't really jive with what people are trying to do. But yeah, as far as the traditional Mediterranean diet, a lot of it's a lot healthier for you.
Now, Buzz, if you have guests that come in that have diet restrictions or allergies, you can certainly accommodate them with the
we
meal.
have a lot of requests as far as gluten-free meals. We don't have anything on our menu at this time, but we do things for people who have gluten-free diet requests. And we have a lot of people who it's difficult for us, but we accommodate them, is seafood or shellfish allergies. It's kind of hard to do specific things, but we'll pan fry stuff on the stove for them. And I'm pretty careful because being a parent, and I saw my son have an asthma attack. If something happened to one of our guests like that, it would really, really bother me. So I'm very, very careful. I don't even use the same spatulas, and then I'll go out and get new pans, and so I'm real, real careful with stuff like that. Well, that grouper's nice and it's got a nice